Sorry, what happened?
Okay, all right. Forgot to mute everyone to begin. So, hello again. It's one of those days when we try to take a look at price action. I'm going to start with some daily charts first. And kind of show you guys what's on my mind right now.
Generation. Just lucky that shot wasn't as crazy as number 8.
Wait, I thought everyone was muted. Need to fix that. All right, so the XY daily chart. This is what I'm looking at right now. I'm going to zoom up to this part of the price action. If you look carefully, from this down candle's high, right there, all the way down to here. Do you see any imbalances in this price leg? No imbalance, right? So the fact that this guy's starting to trade higher is suggesting we're gonna have a deeper run. All that we need now is a trade through previous day's high. Once it takes previous day's high, I don't think there's anything stopping this from going higher. The fact that there's no imbalances inside here and all of these are lower highs, high, lower, so high, low, lower, high, low, 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 high, low, low, all that good stuff. That is setting up for a big day. And again, usually when you see a deliver like this, I'm thinking that this is a small volume imbalance inside here. I'm usually thinking that down, retrace, and then continue. In this case, we took liquidity below these lows in this huge rundown, and then we're finding quote unquote support at an old daily high. All right, that level is an old daily high. If I zoom out a little, you'll see old daily high with an imbalance. So the fact that we broke through here, the first thing I'm thinking that this is now fair value for more buying. So retail resistance group can become support ideas. So if they're gonna go lower, the only place I can see buy side liquidity resting to pair orders is all the way up here. So this screaming higher, I like that. If we can't get above previous day's high today, then this is off the table for me, because it wouldn't be tradable if we can't trade through here. So trade through this high, small retracement, and then push. That's good for the week, and I'm done. On NAS, if we are to stick to the narrative that bullish DXY means NAS low, in this price swing in comparison to DXY, this is the last price swing on DXY on NAS, and there's a lot of imbalances inside here and inside here that we could target. So I like that idea. I kind of close my shorts a tad bit early, but it's fine. We're now trading below this day here. So a retracement inside here, I'm good with that, and then low. So that's what I'm watching for today. Weird. Same thing with AU. I think last week or the week before we did a call, and we're talking about AU drawing to that imbalance right there and why it was the only logical level. Now, if you think about what I just said today, if when AU was right here, looking back for where it could trade to, we have big figure numbers right there and that imbalance. All of those were overlapping right here. So we could have said that 0.70 was the target, but then it's going to go through 0.7 because there's an imbalance right here. Now, what we don't want is to see it go above that imbalance. Once that happens, this is bullish, because imbalances are typically where accumulation or reaccumulation happens, because that's fair value. This guy not getting above here is good. So now we're looking, and almost all daily charts have the same fractal. The daily high that created the run to objective, in this case would have been here, we're below that low. So this is setting up ideas for this being a bullish or a bearish order block. So retracements inside here, I like. That's what I'm expecting for this week. If we get that, there's so many daily lows inside here, with this being the target if the XY still remains bullish. So that's what I'm looking at. Retracement in here, big week. This has gotten pretty close to its objective. I was thinking this cluster of orders inside here, we might have difficulty going through it just because it's back and forth price action. But if volatility comes in, then I'd like to see this low get swept right there. So the difference with this chart now and every other chart is everything was slowing down except this guy. While everything was squeezing higher, GJ kept screaming. How far we expect retracements? Look at the daily candle bodies or something else, liquidity imbalances. If you're looking for retracements, I always go for imbalances first. So if this guy's going to retrace, there's so many imbalances in here, I'm not touching GJ because ideally my mind goes to second imbalance, which is right here. But I don't see anything GBP related that would warrant a 200 pip move before going low. So for that reason, I'm going to leave it alone. Analysis doesn't mean take the trade. This guy, I'm watching opening price of here. Once we can get above previous day's low, then I get interested in zooming into a H1 chart for imbalances. EU, I don't look at, well, I'll look at EU in a second when we jump to the H1 chart. Actually gonna do that now. So 13 minutes before equities open, NAS has been trading lower for some time now. I closed my shorts and I walked away because extended moves, anything can happen. Oh, retracements after liquidity. You call that. Yes, I can elaborate. I can elaborate, and I will elaborate. So first up, DXY H1. Looking through the candles, we can see if this is your first time watching any of these videos, black lines are previous days highs and lows. Right? Red line is weekly open. We had this day right here, which is, what's it, Thursday? Thursday being the highest day of last week, trading through the highs. Then we had Friday taking Thursday's low, retrace. So typical purge and revert setup. Taken here. So now where's the draw for purge and revert? It would have been these lows down here, but that's already been taken and market's edging lower, edging lower, edging lower. This slow move low is never something I want to be a part of. It's frustrating to be in a price action like this because 90% of the times, once you go break even, then it comes back and tag you. So now I'm looking for a trade through this high. Once we get that, then I'm thinking all the way back up here, maybe to this H1 candle if they like us. That's as high as I'm thinking it could retrace immediately. But once we get there, I want to see how we close there to tell me if we're going to scream higher. And then that 107.4 level comes on the menu. For today, I'm bullish. What invalidates my idea for being bullish, because I guess that's something that would help. This low here, in particular, this down candle, I don't want to see price go back below that down candle. This is now what I am anticipating to be a bullish order block. And I want that high to get taken. Once we get there, we could retrace at this imbalance, that's fine. But below here, and it's a don't trade for me. It's NFP week as well, so manipulations can come in. So I'm not going to commit any ideas beside this. Below here, we walk, full stop. No form fitting, no justifying a trade. The plan is simple. We want previous day's highs to be taken, and we don't want to see price go below here. And we transpose that narrative to everything else. I'm thinking lower for this. We've already traded below previous day's low for NAS, so that's good. Retracements now could go back to here, but I'd rather not see that. I'd rather equities open can spike above here, but then after that, I don't want to see another retracement to 13K. That's not good. Then we could just take a look at all of these right here, and you should be able to see the liquidity that's building up. In particular, this one right here. Friday's low, I like that. I like Friday's low being the draw. If we get to Friday's low though, important, it has to stay below Friday's low. Going below Friday's low and coming back up is going to lead to consolidation. And I don't want consolidation in a short for NAS, because NAS doesn't consolidate in short ranges. It's not going to consolidate in a 50-point range, which means it's going to stop me out, or it's going to take away the profit that I'm trying to get. Once we get below here, we start looking at the imbalances. Firstly, this is the order block that started the push that broke above this high. So this order block has to be of some importance. So let's put a line there. And that's my current draw on liquidity for NAS. If we get the setup today at equities open in the next 9 minutes, I'm going to be targeting here and see what we can get. Gold. Gold. Gold is setting up. Let's put it that way. So it was possible to get a short up here on an M5 chart. I didn't take it. I want more confirmation. I wanted to take this low here, then retrace, and I look for shorts inside the body of this candle. That's my model. So that's the only thing that I'll be focused on for gold. If I decide to trade gold, I don't really like gold a lot. So order of delivery. First thing, close below this fair value gap. Second thing, trade below this low. I don't care if it closes, but I wanted to trade below this low. Then I wanted to retrace, which means if one big wick goes down here and then it retraces back inside this candle, I am willing and prepared to go short. So yeah, I'll show you the M5 setup that I missed. I was looking at it a couple minutes ago and I was like, nah. Same thing's happening now on, let's get these off. H1 for AU. Took previous day's high right here, traded low, below this low. Retracement to this imbalance around about the weekly open is good. That's what I would like. I wouldn't want to see it completely fill in this imbalance and go back above 0.7. I don't think that's necessary. I just think it needs to trade back above here, and breaker ideas could come in play. This down candle here overlaps with this. That could be nice. I'd like to short here if I get that again. So that's one thing. That's a breaker hack for the persons who like breaker. If you can filter down a breaker setup on an hourly chart and you can see where the last run above a previous day's high is clear like this. So we had a run on previous day's high. Hourly chart shows this down candle here. These are breakers that usually show more sensitivity and are better to trade. It's just a random breaker somewhere. For me, that's a no. So if you take that and you transpose it to lower time frames, you look at session highs and session lows and breakers that run session highs and session lows, you could find something there. EU, for everyone that loves EU, same idea. Previous day's high taken. This candle doesn't have a lot of body for me to factor it in for a breaker, but I look at it because it's overlapping with these short-term high. Back inside here and then lower is fine. I'm not sure if we've traded below this low as yet, but I'm not interested until we get back up here. There we go. So that imbalance there should be nice for AU shorts today. The devil hasn't traded below this low yet. took previous day's high inside here. This is the run. This is another example of one of those breakers that look nice. So far it's looking good. So I'm just gonna extend this out right there. And that should be a nice short setup. We have this low and this low on the menu. So I'm gonna tag. If I was trading GU, I'd short for this target. When we get here, watch how we trade when we get to here, especially when we get into this fair value gap, because it could create retracements that get back up inside this day's low, Monday's low. So Monday's range is the range to watch this week. Almost every pair, if we just quickly run back, is looking at a breakout structure around breaking through Monday's high and or low. Some pairs have already done it. Some pairs waiting for volatility. This hasn't done it. Typical gold behavior. This has already done it by a landslide. This has already done it. So we have a whole lot of imbalances sitting inside here. Confluences in this portion of the range. If you grab a fib, put it on the bodies right there. Above here, inside here, OTE is lined up with that breaker. So that's a cute little idea to wait for. That's what I'm going to be waiting for. If it doesn't form today, then I'm simply not going to trade today. That's it. EU, again, we need to get up here. There's no real impulse right here of note. This is nice. It took here, but we didn't have a deep enough retracement to entice me to take a trade in here. So while there are scalps, it's not enough for a hourly chart. This price deliver on a 5-minute chart, tradable. On an hourly chart, it's saying wait for more information. It's not clear yet. For me, again, above that. Just talked about GU. GJ retracement, just as we spoke about earlier. This is the only bearish pair that has not recently traded below previous day's low. The last time GJ took previous day's high was here, and it's now trading lower off this. So if it's bearish and it's all the way down here, this is the last time we took buy side. This is the last time we took sell side. That's your dealing range. This looks wild. Do you wait for a news event before entering a trade? Not necessarily. It depends on a couple of things. So if I'm going to be trading indices, then I'm focused on the time for my entry, like equities open. If news is coming out that equities open, and that's a good thing, I like that. I'd prefer to wait for the news for NAS in particular, because equities open can be scary. It can destroy your stop loss. Enigma just entered. Wow, interesting. This was UCAD. Today was going to be the first day in a very long while that I traded UCAD, and this was my plan. Because I'm bullish DXY, I wanted to be bullish UCAD as well. So this box and this is kind of the same idea. So that was where I was going to go long, focusing on that imbalance right there. No, yeah, as in, no, someone just joined the call and their name was Enigma. What invalidates an order block? That's a good question. So let's talk about what validates an order block, and then you could deduce what invalidates it. An order block for me is validated if it breaks market structure. It's a point in price that produces a swing that breaks market structure. Full stop. So if there's a down candle that pushed and didn't break market structure, not looking at it. Not looking at it at all. And then there's context. If I'm bullish and there's an order block that breaks an old high, retracements to that, I'm perfectly fine with. It's 9:30. Let's see what Naz is doing. Retracement, all good with that. All good with that so far. Gold didn't close below the FVG, but that's a nice little shift. This would be a good time to go to M5 for gold. This is an order block. It's an up candle that created a push that broke market structure. For me, that's a high probability order block. So getting back up into this area above that, I'd like. Now, the thing about this gold setup for me is I had specific order of delivery I wanted to see before I get interested in gold shorts. If you remember, that was close below the FVG, trade below the low, then retrace. We haven't closed below the FVG. We haven't taken this low, but we're retracing. Kind of like yesterday, it looks like a nice sell, but it's urging me to wait for more information. UK doing nothing yet. US 30. Let's see look at Nas. Bam. Yeah. Waiting for Nas to retrace to go short. Nas M5 should look very nice as well. London highs on the menu. Zoom out a tad bit and see what's happening here. So we have weekly opening price. Is there any reason for price to trade back above London high? This looks like Asian high. Nas is very likely to trade above 12.9 in my opinion. That's where I would short. If I don't get it, then I'm just not going to short Nas. Buying Nas though is scary. I'm not buying Nas here. Here or no trade. That's simple. Liquidity run after liquid. Yes. I saw both of those questions, guys. So here's the thing. One of my rules for entry is, I'm gonna draw this real quickly. If we have a low right there and price takes that low, I'm not looking at a FEG here to push price low like this. That's what most persons look at. I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at that FVG to hold price inside here. Then I get that run. That's the difference. So when most persons would sell this return and put their stops above here, I am here taking their stops and then going lower. So you have to know when there's a trade idea, but it's not ready. Kind of like yesterday with gold, when I was saying that gold and EU, the shorts look good, but it just feels wrong because of the time of the day that it was being formed. So there was a small short, and then we bought that low, and then you saw what happened afterwards. So that's the idea now with this guy. Waiting for it to get above. The next one was liquidity to liquidity. I don't remember. I said something. I'll explain in the chat. But when we have both sides of the liquidity being taken like that and the dealing range is created, price is not likely to be aggressive until it retraces inside this range. Most persons see a high and a low get swept, and they immediately want to short every retracement without any kind of context. When this happens, the context is that's now the range that we're focusing on, and 50% as well. So you have to look at this delivery. How was price delivered inside here? Is it one big push that makes it inefficient? So we could start looking at a huge type 1 run OTE entry. Or do we have many short-term highs inside here that persons were using to chase the move as it was coming down? These guys are now liquidity. So we aim to liquidate and then move. So I don't feel like I'm missing anything here. If the trade idea doesn't play out, we don't miss anything. It's the number one thing that kills psychology. Not that we can't analyze, but that we can't wait for a setup to form. Or that we look at a level and we trade the level instead of the delivery at the level. So rigid support and resistance ideas. You mark a line, that's your POI, price does this, you buy. Price do that, you buy again. Price does this, then you buy, then price does that. You have to look at the delivery around the level and why should that level hold? It can't be because it stopped price before, so it's no resistance or support. That's, in my opinion, right? In my opinion, my humble opinion, that's a flawed logic. Markets move to fair value. That's it. When you understand what fair value is, I know you see it on a chart, you could see a level and anticipate why market should trade there. So like this is fair value for many reasons. Number one, it's inside the previous day's range that was raided. Retracing inside a high when bearish inside previous day's range is high probability. So I'm just waiting for this to happen. Then I want to see the delivery around that price level, and then I'll trade. Stay that off. Bam, bam. That's activity in the chat. Can you have the MT4 setup? This MT4 setup? Retracements after liquidity run equals negative. Yes. So let's just do that, and then we jump to intraday M5 to see what's happening. Low, liquidity. Liquidity taken. Ignore the idea that I'm going to retrace and then go lower. Ignore that idea whenever liquidity is taken. If you do that and you try to get this 9 times out of 10, you're going to get crushed. Or maybe 8 times out of 10. But instead, what you look at is the delivery inside here. Why is the market retracing? When this low is taken, can you anticipate the retracement? And where? Where should it retrace to? Only way you can do that is if you look at the delivery. Fast moves leave imbalances. Slow deliveries entice reactions. This is the narrative. But more times than not, that's what happens. So that's what I mean when I said that. Next chart. EU. Mark and Sean would remember what's happening here. A 10-second chart showing up for work. AU, we're gonna look at everything through the lens of London range. What's London range doing? And let's start at GJ. Here's London range. The green box is when we start trading. If this was the range to look at, it's easy to see high, low, 50% of the range. If you're bullish, because GJ has been trading lower for a very long time, and the market opens in premium, you cannot, or you should not, in my humble opinion, think to go long in the premium end of the range. So you wait for a run to discount. You could simply look at this and say, we have all these down candles in London. Which one has the lowest closing price? That one right there. Tag the open. We buy when it comes back. Game over. Next one is gold. Gold is opening all the way above London range. So this could be a mini market maker model where this range is the accumulation range, all that good stuff, smart money reversal. We're looking for the low risk sell now to crush this. Oh, Nas taking the buy side liquidity. What chart was I looking at? M5, I think it was M5. All right, so Nas is there now. Call is gonna end in a couple seconds and I'm gonna get to work. Gold, still would like to see gold sell off today. It makes sense. Everything makes sense about gold selling off. This was that level that we're going to look at to go short. I think I explained why, so now we could see what's happening. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't tell you to sell there. Still waiting on this guy. EU was bearish. It took previous day's low here. We're looking for the retracement. So if we're bullish EU and it's now deep inside here, we just had a run on lowest closing down candle in London. So I like the idea of EU running higher. Maybe take this and then we could think about shorts. But for now, I'm thinking higher prices on EU. AU, whole lot of imbalances in AU. Whole lot of imbalances inside here. We could have a doji kind of day where we come all the way back up here and the closing price is somewhere inside here before this moves again. That's what I'm thinking. So until then, we sit and we wait. This is what I'm interested in, NAS. But I haven't seen my model form yet. This is a nice area to watch for GJ. So just a quick run through again. We don't want to see the XY go up below here, higher. We talked about this running this high. It's happening now. Confidence on weekly opening price looks nice. Gold, we wanted this first. It's not happening. So I'm sitting. We want this. It's not there yet. So we wait. So we wait. I don't have a GU M5 chart, so I'd leave that for you if you study GJ. GU, look at GU M5 to see how it's playing around with that. GJ, yeah, GJ is the only weird one. Everything else is dying. DXY bullish usually suggests lower prices on GJ, but it's been going low for so long. Retrace. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. I want DXY higher and I want EU here to run. So the only way they both make sense is DXY stays in here or have very short pushes to the high. Nothing real animated, but EU does the move and then DXY could speed up. So once EU gets here, DXY can speed up and then we can die. But of course, as a trade idea, you have to have something that invalidates it, or you become one of those persons who buy, get stop out, then you buy again, then you get stop out, then you buy again, then you buy again, then you buy again. And then you lose the account. Then you turn off MT4. But yeah, that's as much as I'm looking at. So for that purpose, GJ wouldn't be on my radar today, guys. It's a little bit sketchy. EU, I'd be waiting for. AU, I'd be waiting for. Gold, I'd be waiting for. NAS is the pair to trade for me. Something is chopping around horribly. There we go, fixed. NAS model forming. Yeah. So I'll leave you to it. So you could go. Oh, okay, okay, NAS, see you. I see you. Break above London high, suggesting bullish idea. So narrative is always first. A break above London high means nothing in itself. It could be a run on buy side liquidity to go short. It could be a market structure shift, but it depends on the narrative. So for NAS, this is London high. I'm not looking at a run on London high as market structure shift. I'm looking at it as a liquidity grab. So I'm not interested in shorting anywhere down here. It has to come back for me, or I'm not taking it. This is work, and I'm demanding the conditions under which I work. That's it. GJ, this would I'd consider market structure shift because I'm thinking DJ needs to trade higher. So trading through London for me higher prices. Gold, it's already above London high. If it gets below here, it's probably going to sit for a while. There we go. It's coming back for daddy. All right, guys, I'm gonna go have a party with Naz. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for joining. Hit that like button, etc., etc. You know how it goes. Let's go find Naz.